Assistant here at Upson County Extension Office.
I'm Hailey Robinson. I'm the Ag Agent and County Extension Coordinator here in Upson County.
And welcome to Make It Monday.
So for this Make It Monday, we are making cookie cutter birdseed feeders. It's a mouthful. But for this, we've got a couple different ingredients. What we're gonna do first is tell you everything that you need, and then we're gonna tell you the first process, which actually won't happen over here at the table. We're gonna go over to the stove, and then we'll go through everything, but first we'll talk about all of the ingredients we need. So Menecia, talk about what's on your side, and then I'll talk about what's on my side.
Okay, first we have the cookie cutters. We got different kinds, different shapes, and have a spoon, measuring cup, and then the bird seeds, and then the packets of gelatin.
And then we also got a mixing bowl because we got to mix all of it together. We went ahead and just used this measuring cup as well so we can pull the birdseed from this bowl into the other one. We've got a cookie sheet and we're going to line it with foil. And then we're going to need a couple straws, which we're going to end up cutting. We've got scissors that we're going to need. And then you also need something to boil water in. So Miss Hailey and Miss Menecia both love hot tea. So we are using our office teapot to boil the water this time. I know in the past we've done it in a pot and stuff like that. Well, this is gonna be a little bit easier for us. So the cookie cutters, you can use any type of cookie cutter. I mean, we've got one that looks like a 4-leaf clover. We've got some that are more like Easter themed just because they were here in the office, but you can use whatever. But the first step to do is to make the gelatin. So the gelatin, to make that, we've got these 2 little packets. We've got to mix them together with boiling water. So we're gonna take this teapot and we are going to go boil some water, and then we'll come back and we'll show you the rest of the process. So we'll be back in a minute.
Okay, the water just finished boiling.
So now what we're gonna do is we are going to make the gelatin solution. So what Miss Menecia is gonna do is she's gonna take both of these gelatin packets and she's gonna pour it into this plastic measuring cup that's got the spoon in it. And so we're using 2 packets depending on how much birdseed you have, how many of these little feeders you want to make. You can use however many gelatin packets you want to. I mean, shoot, you could use like 100 and just have a ton of birdseed. So we put both of those in there. And so now what we're going to do is for 2 packets, it takes 1 cup of water. So we're going to pour this 1 cup of water in here. And then Miss Menecia is gonna mix it. But so with this portion, you wanna be very careful because this water is very hot. So you might wanna have your parents do this. All right, so now Miss Menecia is going to mix it until all of that gelatin dissolves into the bottom of that. And so that's why we decided to use the tea kettle, just because it's a little bit easier to pour it out than using like a big old pot. While she's mixing that, what I'm gonna do is line this cookie sheet with some foil. We're not gonna bake these or anything. It's just there so that when everything dries and kind of congeals together, it's not doing it right on the cookie sheet and it's making it a little bit easier for cleanup. All right, so are we completely dissolved? Yeah. Okay, so now what she's gonna do is she's gonna pour that into this mixing bowl. And then what we're gonna do is, there's not an exact measurement because it depends on how much birdseed you've got and what kind of birdseed you have. So like this one's got a lot of little pellets, it's got some bigger ones, but if you had ones that had a bunch of bigger ones, it could change the amount. But we're gonna pour it in about a cup at a time, and Miss Menecia is going to mix it, and we want to make sure that there isn't any excess of the gelatin, and we want all of the birdseed to be good and coated. So we'll do one, and then she'll mix. You can get closer. And then I'll get another cup, which this is 2 cups worth. This mixing cup, or measuring cup. And so you don't want it to be soupy. You just want everything to be covered. Like I said, it depends on the gelatin packets you use, depends on the birdseed that you've got. You're just gonna eyeball this portion.
I think you need a little bit more.
And so for any of y'all that have ever made Jell-O before, this is the unflavored gelatin that you can find over by the Jell-O portion in like Walmart, Ingles, places like that, Piggly Wiggly. Think we need more? Nope. Okay, so we are good and covered. After she mixes it, we'll hold it up so y'all can see it a little bit. And you can kind of see it's good and covered. It's not really soupy. Reminds me of like porridge. Like, you know, the back in the day when they take that spoon and just slop it onto your plate. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are gonna lay out all of our cookie cutters on here, on this foil lined. And so we've got an egg shape, we've got a butterfly shape,
carrot, and a flower,
and
then the clover.
And then a duck and a bunny rabbit. Okay, and so now what Miss Menecia is going to do is she is going to fill this up to the top portion of the cookie cutter with the birdseed, while I will be over here cutting these. We'll take one straw and we're going to cut them just so that they're a little bit bigger or taller than what the cookie cutter is, because this is going to create a hole so we can hang these eventually. So I'm going to cut them all about an inch. And we're gonna let her fill these in. We're gonna speed it up a little bit so we can see all of it. I'm gonna place all these in here and then we'll go back and tell you what's gonna happen next.
So now we filled out our cookie cutters. This is what they look like.
So next what we're gonna do is we're gonna create the holes to hang them. And so Miss Menecia and I, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these and we're gonna put them kind of towards the top side of some of these cookie cutters. So I'll give you one of these. And it's gonna make it a hole, so once all of this kind of hardens together, we're gonna pull them out, it'll make a hole so that we can hang them outside on trees. So I'm gonna give Miss Menecia a couple of these, and then I'm gonna take a couple of them, and we are gonna put these in all of them. And like I said, it's just supposed to make it easy so that we can put in some yarn, which that wasn't in our original ingredient list, but some yarn to hang them outside in like the tree, on a post, kind of wherever you want to hang them at. All right, so it's going to make those little holes. So now what we're going to do is we are going to put these in the fridge for about an hour. And then that's gonna make it so all of it hardens together. And then after that, we're gonna come back. We'll show you a picture of what they look like. And then we are gonna put the yarn in and they will be ready to go. So we will see you in a little bit. Bye.
Okay, our bird feeders have been in the fridge for an hour. So we're gonna see how they come out.
Yes, so what we're gonna do now is, because we didn't spray the bottom of this just because we didn't want to have any oil on it, we're going to take them and you're going to spin it just to loosen it so all of these seeds don't come off. But you're going to spin each one of these little cookie cutters. You got to be careful so you don't rip the foil, just so you can pull it off. And because we had such little seeds and some of our seeds spilled over whenever we filled it in, some of it's gonna just come off on the outside, but you can see, I mean, it's been all kind of coagulated together. Got our little straw right here. So now what we're gonna do is we are gonna push them very gently, because it's just gelatin, so these aren't gonna be hard as rock. But we're gonna push them out of these cookie cutters. And we can go ahead and pull out this little insert, the straw insert that we put in there. And we're gonna pull them out. And then we have got one of our bird feeders that we can hang. And you can see you've got this little hole in the top, and what we're gonna do, and that's okay. Some of them are a little bit weaker if it's, depends on your cookie cutter. Like that was a really close portion together. So there's no way that was gonna hold totally, but that's okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of these out of the cookie cutters really quickly, And then we are going to add this string to them, and then we'll show you what they look like when we hang them up. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so now that we have taken all of them out of the cookie cutters, and some of ours didn't necessarily hold together, like I had said, they have, depending on your cookie cutter, it's just a bad choice on our part. If it's too small, like thin together, it's not gonna hold very well. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna choose 2 of them. So I'm gonna choose this flour one, and Miss Menecia is gonna choose the chicken. And what we're gonna do is we are going to put some string. We're gonna cut it, and it's just gonna be a little holder so we can hang it out on the trees outside, and then we're gonna take you outside, we're gonna hang them up and show you what our feeders are gonna do. So we'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so since the birdseed we chose to use has such small pieces to it, we've decided not to hang these just because they're gonna fall apart. If a little bit of wind hits it outside, then it's probably gonna fall through that string. So we've got some ledges outside the office. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set these little bird cookies out there on those ledges for the birds to come nibble on. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna show you, we're gonna take you outside, we're gonna show you where we're setting them down, and then we'll go from there. So we'll see you in a second. All right, so we've got this little ledge outside our office. So Miss Menecia is going to set our little bird cookies on this ledge, and then we'll just let the birds feast at whatever time they want to. So this one, we've got one of our butterflies, we've got one of our clovers, this is another clover, we've got our egg,
Be gentle with the bunny.
and then we've got our bunny rabbit. So our hanging bird feeders turned into bird cookies, but here in Extension, we make it work. So we'll see what the birds think.
See you next time.
That's our Make It Monday. Bye, y'all.
Bye.